disappoint me? Second by second, you waste my time.
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Power Up Podcast. It's Monday, and boy oh boy, we are running late. But it's all right. We are here. We got some stuff to talk about. We talk about pop culture here on this show. We look at what's happening in that field, check out what's newsworthy, I guess. But then we, just a guy who gives his 2 cents amongst the many others who do the same thing. But it's fun. I enjoy it. Keeps us well informed. We check out, see what's good, what's bad, what's ugly. What's up, Komanga? And what's happening, Today was also early voting here in Texas, so I went and did that. I did my civic duty, I guess one could say. But lots of things to talk about here. Some topics that I know are kind of going on at the moment. What was it? That one, for example, that one Twitch person that went off about how American soldiers, Frogan, saying American soldiers should deserve PTSD. And at first, nothing happened. Then she kind of backtracked and apologized, and now she's banned. But should it just stop there at banning, or should she just go permanently? Yeah, I think so. I don't know who she is or whatever. All I know is she's fat and probably just assumed that she could get away because privilege. I shouldn't have attacked. I shouldn't have gone for the personal attack, I guess you could say. But when you try to justify your hatred for, the American soldiers out there, you may just, there's some bad ones out there for sure. There's some good ones and stuff, but, I mean, to go on that, I watched the rant. It's so retarded. Keep that shit to yourself. Or talk amongst your friends, I guess, about it if you're that. But, the apology came soon after all the backlash about explaining what she meant by, and I didn't even read the apology because if you watch the clip, she's pretty damn straightforward about what she admits. It's just because she got her hand caught in the cookie jar that now she's trying to backtrack, but it didn't save her. So, good job, Twitch. You actually did something right. But, like I said, I've got some articles here that have caught my eye, caught my interest. So let's hop into this. Let's get going. And I think I did not set up. Yep, I forgot to do that. Let me grab this here real quick. Well, bam. This was another one that was happening over the weekend. Tales of Kenzura Zhao dev accepts criticism but condemns racist comments. So there was I think it was a hypnotic video going around with Smash JT and Demian, and some other people too and whatnot. And they were pretty much bashing the game, bashing him because I guess he gave a speech at an award ceremony or something like that. And I watched a little bit of the award speech, and I tend to agree in terms of kind of what he was trying to do. But we'll read this here, what they were saying that he was trying to do. So Abu Bakr Salim, the creative director behind Tales of Kenzura Zhao, which I believe the studio had to let go a bunch of people, by the way, because they didn't make enough off of the game, has re-entered discourse surrounding his game following a renewed discussion over Sweet Baby Inc.'s involvement. Released in April of this year, Tales of Kenzura Zhao is a self-described Metroidvania inspired by traditional Bantu culture. The game was quickly criticized for the involvement of Sweet Baby Inc., a narrative consultancy firm, which became controversial following a harassment campaign against Steam user Cabrutus, who runs the curator Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, and now DEI Detected, short for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. However, Salim has admitted that a dislike of Sweet Baby Inc. is a valid reason not to like his game. What appears to be bothering him the most are the racist comments he received on social media in the wake of his game's launch. So right away, we have a couple things. And if we can find Smash JT's response, I 100% agree to what Smash JT said. Keep in mind, this guy's an actor. So October 21st, there's more of what was said. So this is like them responding.
Matter, then he was crying.
Should have
and trying
been
to get the game
Spear
away.
Chucker Studios. It would have
Oh,
made more sense.
oh man, that guy coming in hot. Surgeon Studios, Stupid Ass Studios, Sucks to Be You Studios, Sinker Surge Studios, Suffer Studios. I mean, I could go on. So why are we saying Spear Chucker Studios, folks? What is that coming from? Fascinating. I mean, it's coming from the fact that we would know that you would get a reaction from it. That's where it's coming from. Okay, I didn't see that one. I probably should have screened it. That was funny. In terms of like just coming right out of the gate with that with that. Oh my goodness. So I thought it was going to be like what he was claiming. I mean, I guess we could go on his. Let's see. He did not quote tweet Smash JT. Shoot. Oh, here it is. This is what started it all. So you have this right here. Some person like has the stuff open.
You begin in the opening seconds of your video by trying to denounce the idea that your being black has anything to do with it. It only makes it look more like it has everything to do with it.
Right.
That's all I was gonna say.
No, sorry.
Yes.
Well, God, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, like, if you begin in the opening seconds of your video by trying to denounce the idea that your being black has anything to do with it, it only has everything to do with it.
Right.
That's all I was
What I
Start
did
off a
earlier.
conversation like that.
Sing us the song, you're the colored man.
Oh my god.
Oh no, there's two of them.
Oh, wow. Coming in hot that panel. But yeah, you got like a bunch of people here. But I have 10 tabs open because the podcast of an anti-woke team talked about Abu Bakr Salim and Tales of Kenzura. And of course, they had to mock his speech at the Game Awards. And then you could find there the whole segment. And I did watch like the beginning of the segment. He talked about how he connected with his father with video games and stuff. But yet, like here.
Let's talk about.
Oh, that's the full segment of the show.
Channel
We're not.
over, yeah.
No, we're not doing that. Let's see. We're not going to do that at the moment. But yeah, he gave a speech talking about his late father and how he made this game to dedicate it to his late father because they bonded over video games. Now the thing is that the speech he did word it specifically, and remember he's an actor. He did word it specifically to where, you know, this is kind of what wokies and stuff do. They'll, you know, the sword and shield method. They'll first, you know, if you're gay, for example, they'll utilize their gayness as a shield. Well, as a gay person, blah, 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 blah. So by initiating that, they now in their minds have set it up to where it goes, okay, so now anything that they say that I disagree with, it's an attack on me as a human being. We've seen this like plenty of times. And the same thing can be used with gender, race, and all that stuff. And that's pretty much what this guy has done as well. So he responded to this and said, "Are these your leaders? Mocking the speech I gave the game I dedicated to my late father. First and foremost, you wouldn't be the first time that someone's ever mocked a deceased person. So this like surprise of how wow, like people can do that. Comedians do it all the time. Frickin' Gilbert Gottfried made a 9/11 joke like right away after it happened. So, you know, except Gilbert Gottfried is skilled enough that he was able to win the audience back when he told an aristocrats joke to save it. But, you know, first and foremost, like, yeah, it's going to happen. And does it sting when someone does it? Yeah. But again, this is kind of like a protective mode that these people kind of put upon themselves. They're the victim. They're always the victim. The man who told me that games are a great space to enjoy and escape, a place in which a community is strong. This is true. Again, my confusion comes from these people not willing to engage. A place in which, again, my confusion comes from these people not willing to engage on grounds that are civil when all I've offered is transparency and communication. Now, this I don't believe for an absolute second, because we've seen people like this before. They always claim that they want to have a civil discussion, X, Y, Z, and then when an olive branch is extended, they refuse. Why? Because they have determined that any sort of engagement with the enemy, you know, is some sort of compromise, because they've taken it to that extreme. So this is 100% disingenuous. Because again, he will determine what is civil. He will determine what is considered transparency and communication. But no, they wear the same mask that they say they're fighting against, the clothing of those who ridicule and attack for no reason because they made fun of what he was wearing at the awards, who want division in an industry, who injects politics in whatever they share. I'm here if you have questions. So this one right here is 100% projection. All of this that he says comes from people like him. Because despite all the insulting that maybe some of these people have said in this video and stuff like that, the main goal is that they, you know, if the story is written to have diversity or what have you, whatever, there are plenty of games out there that have successfully done that. It's that forced diversity, and it's their definition of diversity that, one, we don't want in the games, and two, doesn't work. Look at Concord. Look at Suicide's, you know, Justice League killed the Suicide Squads. Look at Dustborn. It clearly shows that none of that doesn't work, and it doesn't sell, and it hurts companies. So as you can see, this is where I favorite Smash JT. So Smash JT, he was on the panel. I believe he didn't go as ham as like the other people did. I'm sure you're a very kind, friendly person in the right environment, surrounded by yes men and women, but my issue here is I don't believe you. I will most likely never believe you. And no, it's not racism or any other ism that people always jump right to. It's because my starting point is that you are a professional actor. You know how to tug at people's emotions while perfectly playing the perpetual victim card. Just look at how you started this tweet, a rallying cry for virtual signaling. Come on, man. It's incredibly difficult to get past the actor thing because the starting point here is broken and there is a little chance of resolution. The fix needs to start with you, admitting your faults, the race blaming, the attempts at deception, the sympathy pleas to the community. You want a small pity party every time someone disagrees with you, and you'll be chasing your own tail in the long run. Your communications come across as disingenuous, and these kinds of actions continue to reinforce my perception of you. Are people racist? Of course. There always are. Or there's always some. Not are. There are always some. Well, they think there always are. Are people awful human beings? Again, always some. Reality is you lean into the emotion of your supporters in order to push your agenda. The weak-minded fall for the shit, but you're smart and you can do better. I kind of want to read his response because I didn't see this. Hi, Smash. Appreciate you reaching out and engaging. I admit perhaps the opening of this tweet was quite hyperbolic, but like you, if I get offended or targeted, it's only human to bite back. Before I go into what you've shared, I just want to say that I've seen a lot of this shit that you've had to go through, and I think it's whack. Anyone calling up a person's company and revealing any shreds of personal... Okay, so, again, right here, he's... You know, again, we have to be wary of this because is he truly being genuine about this, or is he just saying that just to make it so he doesn't look as bad? That said, let's get into what you shared. You speak about me leading with emotion, or that you can't trust me because I'm an actor. Being an actor is a profession, man. Our job is to take a script and tell a story. Kamanga says, watching Hypnotic while watching you. Awesome. It isn't to put our own personal life into work and share. It isn't to put our own personal life into work and share that to the world. That is a lie. That is a lie. There are plenty of actors who draw upon their acting, who their acting ability is to draw upon personal experiences. Plenty of actors talked about this in the industry, in interviews in the industry. This is a blatant lie right here. Anybody can look up an interview and find actors who, in order to get into the mindset, they'll method act, some to the very extreme, some into just grabbing personal experiences and just have that on and off switch. Being a developer and an actor are two completely different things. So what? Who cares? That doesn't mean. Anyway, and besides, haven't you previously called in your audience aid when you felt wronged? It's only human. And I need to clear this narrative of me calling people who have never bought my game, or who have never bought my game racist. That's not true. And if anyone actually did that, they're an asshole. My calling out on racists are on those who have been racist. Again, notice how he's not being specific about who specific, like what specific, like name some racists, like name people who were racist about your game. If you say you don't want to buy the game because of SBI involvement and it's a stance you want to take, right on, you do you. Just don't be making derogatory insults while doing it. No, that's free speech. Right here. See, this is how disingenuous this is. Right away. Oh, I'm so sorry that you got attacked. I'm so sorry that this happened. I'm this and this. On that note, yeah, when you can not like SB, Sweet Baby Inc., but don't be making derogatory insults while doing it. Cat calling, or what is it? The kettle calling the pot black, or the pot calling the kettle black? Are you kidding me? People on the woke side do this shit all the time. And they have justified that when they do it, they are in the right because of why? Because they are calling out racists. They have blurred and changed the definition of racism into anybody who disagrees with them. If people said they don't want to watch your content because they don't like what you talk about, that's a fair opinion. But if they start saying that you're a right-wing Nazi, that is something else. But this side says that all the time. You literally called them anti-woke. Me good, you bet. Exactly. So no, I don't believe that the people who don't buy my game are racist. I believe that people who are racist are racist. Then, okay, what? Then why? Then what was the point of saying all of this? Just say this. You literally could have just said, I don't believe that people who don't buy my game are racist. I believe that people who are racist are racist. When you literally set up here that you demand that people don't make any derogatory insults. Again, notice the control. And I don't know where I've been deceptive. Literally in this statement right here. This entire thing is deceptive, in my opinion. And I don't know where I've been deceptive. I've tried to be as open and transparent as possible because the industry, as well as many others, need transparency rather than censorship. Except you use transparency to censorship. That is the exact problem. You, in one hand, say, if you don't want to buy this game because of Sweet Baby Inc., and it's a stance you want to take, right on, don't do you. However, you are not allowed to make any derogatory insults while doing it. No, people can respond however they want, no matter how ass mad you get about it. And I don't know where I've been deceptive. Just because I'm telling you where my artwork comes from doesn't make it acceptive or doesn't make it deceptive. So accept the fact that when it doesn't sell because no one is interested in your story, and if your story is based on you as being an African American or a Baoud or wherever they said it comes from, it'll sting, but just accept it. What's up, Scotty? I'm here. What I missed? Nothing. I'm just talking about the Abu Bakr Salim situation where over on a Hypnotic stream, he got really mad because they made fun of him and, went pretty harsh on some stuff, but whatever. For the work that you do, talk about the gaming industry and holding a very strong stance as to why you do what you do could equally be seen as deceptive and manipulative. But let's get real. This isn't true. You do what you do because you love it. I mean, we've got a bunch of other stuff I want to talk about, so I'm not going to dive in super deep. But as you can see, a bunch of going back and forth. But I did agree with what Smash JT said on the one net. You're an actor. It's like, again, these people think they're the saving grace of video games. The thing is that what we're talking about is games that were done back in, your 80s, 90s, early 2000s. There were plenty of diversity stuff. There were strong female characters. There were, more than a bunch of, just the white male stories out there. You have to go out and find them, but they're there. And the key as to how they were able to do that is because it wasn't forced. These people want to force it. You have to like it because they are doing something for the greater good. Finally got a second draft done, and now you got a better plan in your video script. Nice. So Salim's openness to feedback and good faith discussion has resulted in a mix of criticism and support from both sides of this latest culture war zeitgeist. So yeah, there you go. This is kind of an ongoing one. I caught a little bit of it, but not the whole thing. I mean, I did play some of the extreme clips that I heard. People say that stuff. We've all laughed at others' expenses. I'm a ginger, probably the most oppressed person. This guy thinks he's oppressed. I'm the most oppressive person here because I'm a ginger. All my people's parts in Hollywood are being blackwashed. Constantly being told we don't have souls. But yeah, whatever. But this could tie in because he's saying as an actor, Hollywood needs to be super transparent. Well, Shazam actor Zachary Levi says thousands of people in Hollywood are terrified to claim they support Donald Trump. Gingers are getting replaced by burnt toast. It is a crime. Exactly. See? So actor Zachary Levi, who recently endorsed President Donald Trump for president of the United States, claimed that there are thousands of people in Hollywood who are terrified to claim they are conservatives or support Donald Trump. During a recent Instagram live video, Levi addressed comments from The View. In recent commentary, The View, Goldberg disputed Levy's claims that Hollywood is a very liberal town and that coming out in support of Donald Trump can be career suicide. She said, that's not necessarily true. It is true. From the beginning of Hollywood, it's always been a very right-leaning town. It's not anymore. See, this is what they don't want to admit, is that they're the ones that bastardized it. They think they saved it, but they bastardized it. But let's be real, like the liberal arts, I mean, that can be stemmed all the way back to Enoch the Evil from the Bible, But I know you don't know much about the Hollywood history, so let me school you. Oh, yes, please enlighten us. I'm assuming that's Whoopi Goldberg. We are like America. We're mixed. We're a mixed bunch. And sometimes it may seem like there's more Democrats, and sometimes it seems like there's more Republicans. But the truth of the matter is very few people seem to bite it because they are Republican. Goldberg continued. John Voight, who is working, another one of her co-hosts then states, Dennis Quaid, who is working, people work, stop that. It's more BS and it's unnecessary. What about recent people? You're listing old people, people who are already established. And if they were to suddenly be removed, it'd be sus. James Woods, he got blacklisted. Stop lying about this idea that there's no such thing of blacklisting in Hollywood. It certainly is. It happens down here in Texas as well. It's part of a live stream where he addressed multiple topics. Levy addressed Goldberg's comments saying, to Whoopi Goldberg and to Sonny and to all the folks at The View, I don't think it's accurate to say that somehow Hollywood is both a liberal and a conservative town. To Whoopi's point, back in the day, there might have been a bit more of a balance, he noted, and there have always been more, let's say, conservative-leaning stars that have been able to say those things. But you really have to be at a certain level of your career to get away with that. Yep, number one. And number two, that was also back then. And I think naming just John Voight and Dennis Quaid, and really you only named John Voight Whoopi, somebody else had to help you with Dennis Quaid. There you go. Wha-bam. James Wood is the most based man on Twitter X right now. Yeah, James Woods is awesome. He continued, of the thousands of actors in Hollywood that you could only name two, I think actually speaks to that. And what that means, there is plenty. And by the way, they have sent me lots of messages. Plenty of people in my industry in Hollywood that are terrified to publicly say that they would vote for Donald Trump or be conservative in any way. That's why you don't see them, he stated. That's why they're not very prevalent or prominent, because they know there's ramifications for this type of shit. After lamenting the state of Hollywood following the pandemic and strikes, Levy stated, my cry to all of you out there, you closeted conservatives, closeted Trump voters, y'all, it's now or never. You know what I mean? Do whatever you feel like you need to do. If you need to come out and publicly and say if you feel like you still can't, then don't. I would never pressure you to do that, but know that if what you are afraid of is the backlash of an industry that's not going to exist very soon, then don't let that hold you back. There you go. There's Zach Levy. Apparently, my nerdy home posted that. What do you make of his speech regarding Hollywood? It's true. And once again, like Whoopi, he proved it exactly with what Whoopi said. She could only name John Voight, and someone else had to help her with Dennis Quaid. You could probably Clint Eastwood, already established in the industry. Sylvester Stallone, already established in the industry. See, this is the thing, is that new people who are secretly conservatives will not succeed because they'll get blacklisted right away, or they're not going to go suck a dick. Because the debauchery and the disgusting occult bullshit that is happening behind the scenes in Hollywood is super strong. But all right, so we got that done. I'm going to talk about that ton. Let's switch over to Blooper Team. Oh, Blooper Team. We got some Dragon Ball Z articles we'll read about here too. We'll leave that more on a high note though. So Blooper Team admits, this comes from Tech for Gamers. That news always throws me off. Tech for Gamers, you need to make your icon a tad bit smaller or just move this over a little bit, because it like throws me off, unless it's just like my window. But anyway, apparently Blooper Team admits making, quote, shitty games. And what are they, the angry video game nerd? And they aim to move past that era. They had many highs and lows over the years. While some of its games were absolute gems to experience over the years, others completely fell short of fans' expectations. However, the studio has arguably entered a new age after the massive success of Silent Hill 2 remake. I think it's massively successful for all the wrong reasons for Silent Hill 2. Actually, let me rephrase that. I talked about this before. You guys heard me talk about this too. Silent Hill 2 has solid things about it that you could state, like the gameplay, controlling the camera angles and all that is definitely way better than your past Silent Hill 2. But then one could argue that was part of the charm of the original Silent Hill 2, all that. But ultimately, Silent Hill 2 succeeds is because I feel like people subconsciously think about the Resident Evil 2 remakes and how a lot of people like that, so therefore they're applying it to the Silent Hill 2. If Silent Hill 2 label was not on it, I don't think this game would be doing as successful as what it would have been. Aside from that, they did things that they got away with that have been pointed out, but people are going to utilize the success of how much it's sold and how well it's doing and whatnot to then make the argument, well, DEI does work, which it doesn't, because people complained about it. They complained about the character changes. They complained. I mean, I'm not happy with some of the line changes. I'm not happy about some of the game. I guess you could say the gameplay element as well, because again, it makes me think of Resident Evil remake. Silent Hill 2 is not Resident Evil. The whole point of Silent Hill is that you want to get out of there as quick as possible because you're creeped out about stuff. It became more action-based. Scotty says, I think they botched the storytelling of Silent Hill 2 remake. I agree as well. I think, like, again, look at Shadow of the Colossus 2. Should look at Shadow of the Colossus remake. Prime example of how to do a remake. Gameplay has some general improvements, but oftentimes they have these white cloths that make me think I'm Rapunzel with how many there are. So because of how successful Silent Hill 2, well, Resident Evil was successful, the remake, Silent Hill 2 remake, claiming that it wants to experience a much-needed redemption arc. The devs have recently announced Chronos, The New Dawn, a twisted time travel story set in an unforgiving post-apocalyptic future in 1980s Poland. With that, Blooper team has claimed that it's done making, quote, shitty games and want to move past this era. Except you're still making shitty games in terms of not respecting the original of remakes. For example, again, Silent Hill 2. There are some stuff in there that you did not respect. You didn't respect the original character's design, which is interesting because people who pointed out how Angela was chunky ran back to the original concept art and said she was fat in the concept art, so if anything, she was more accurate like the concept art was. Well, concept art is not the final product. But if you're going to go along the lines of concept art is the final product, then the remake's concept art had them way thinner and different and actually looked like the characters from the OG, but you changed it. So which is it? Which way, Western man? Why it matters. Blooper teams admitted to making mediocre titles in the past and trying to move past that era suggests that the studio is in high spirits after success of the Silent Hill 2 remake. In a new interview with GameSpot, Blooper team clarified that the success of Silent Hill 2 remake was not a fluke by any means. It worked extremely hard to renovate the highly beloved IP, and it paid off. Except you changed stuff that was fundamental to what made Silent Hill 2 Silent Hill 2. Obviously, the character designs was one. The censoring of specific stuff, the insulting of the original outfits that people wear, claiming that, wouldn't it be funny if I wore this, stuff like that. Changing the experience of certain interactions and certain climaxes of characters. Like, to me, these changes were not respected enough. They weren't respected. And I think that they are enough changes to say that it's not Silent Hill 2. But these people are being awarded for it. The studio claims to have found its niche and now wants to evolve it. Blooper Team now features a motley of developers who love the horror genre, and the studio sees no point in switching to other genres. Therefore, it's entirely possible that we see even more Silent Hill games in the future. And what are your thoughts regarding the studio and its talented developers? No, they're not talented. If they were talented developers, they would respect... Again, you literally look at how they did Shadow of the Colossus 2 and replicate it. Like, just all you had to do was build the assets from the ground up. That's all you had to do. You didn't have to change anything. Yeah, you could probably change the acting and stuff like that and the voice lines a little bit and stuff, but the stuff that they didn't change completely changes the impact of the game, of the psychological impact of the game. He also straight up has some Last of Us trolleys to move around, which breaks the pace. Of course they do. So that was tech for gamers. Video Game Chronicles also covered this. We want to find our niche, and we think we found our niche. Silent Hill 2 remake was completely sabotaged, yet people praise it, not recognizing they just stole the homework, but didn't understand why it was done. Yeah, that's exactly. That's kind of what I've been saying and repeating. That's what it is. That's why in one of my past streams, it's a smoke and mirrors game. It's a smoke and mirrors game. Because now people are going to point to it and say, oh, look, Silent Hill 2 did so well, and that was made for modern audiences. It goes, no, it wasn't. Yeah, it was made for modern audiences because you guys are retarded enough to not understand the original game. And you'll just say, yeah, it's cool. Or you probably said, wow, it reminds me of or it reminds me of Resident Evil. Well, Resident Evil and Silent Hill 2 are completely different types of storytelling and a completely different atmosphere, my friend. Like, literally, like, the people that I watched play the Silent Hill 2 remake, I couldn't help but think this is Resident Evil. Even to the fact that people were freaking out when it was like, oh my gosh, if you shoot the enemies in the leg, they kind of stumble a little bit. Then you can come up and melee them. Really? You never would have thought of that, right? That wasn't how it was in Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2, if you wanted to take them out, you shot them enough, and then you had to spend time making sure they were dead by either bashing them with the piece of wood, the plank, or stomping on them. Let's see if Video Game Chronicle covers anything. So it says they're looking to shake its previous reputation and emulate the critical and commercial success of Silent Hill 2. We want to find our niche, and we think we found our niche. So now let's evolve with it, said co-director Jacques Zieba. And how that happens is more complex, but it also happens organically in a way. Like with 2016's Layers of Fear, people in the studio were like, okay, we made some shitty games before, but we can evolve. We gathered a team that loves horror, co-director Wojciech Piecheko added. So I think for us, it would be easy to switch to other genres, and we don't want to. So Blooper team's latest Silent Hill 2 was released earlier this month and widespread critical acclaim and currently has a Metacritic score of 87. And then their article saying that it proves the doubters wrong. It didn't prove anybody wrong. It actually proved the doubters correct. Is they got away enough. They got away with just enough bastardizing that people will fall for it. That's what they said. Even the original, the original creator of Silent Hill 2, read his actual quote, and he was talking about how if he enjoyed the ability to control the camera, because that was something he wanted to do in the original, but he couldn't, just for technology's sake. And he said, whether it's good or bad, gamers will always have the original. Not just that many, like Pyrocynical played the remake and not the original first, saying the new one is better, not having experienced the original at first hand. Yep. I mean, that's just what's going to happen, sadly. It stays... Look at this. Silent Hill 2 is a skillfully handled retelling of one of the medium's most loved survival horror stories, we wrote. If it's a retelling, then it's not the original story. I will only accept a retelling of the story if it's legitimately made by everybody who was on the original game. I will accept that. And then, of course, I will determine whether it was a successful or if it was shit. Okay? That's what Shadow of Colossus remake did. Look at this. It stays faithful to the original to a fault at times. No, it doesn't. Are you retarded? Dude, isn't the first laying figure like you actually find in like one of the apartment buildings. Like it's not to where you crawl in between that like that little construction area to see what it is, and you see him eating or doing something with the one dead guy, and then you pull the plank off and whap it. You didn't do that. You didn't keep the pyramid head mannequin scene. You didn't keep that. You made the girls ugly, and yet you were cool with making Eddie fatter than what he was in the original, which defeats the purpose. You made Eddie more sympathetic, which Eddie is, you could make the argument that Eddie was probably the most deranged person in that game because he was made fun of all this life. So finally he just snapped. Like, you find the figure in the building, but the construction zone. They also screwed up the joke ending somehow by cutting Maria from it. Silent Hill F is the next game in the series. But breathes new life into a stimulating, ensuring that longtime fans will appreciate the respect shown. There was no respect shown. To me, there was no respect shown. Respect shown means you don't change appearances. You know, you can enhance them a little bit, but you straight up don't go the opposite way. Like Maria, Mary were thinner looking, not this stupid chubby face. Angela was like, what, 19? And she didn't need to be, you know, just because you're 19 doesn't mean you need to be chubby too. You find the figure in the building, but the construction zone is still something you can visit. Oh, but the construction zone is... Yeah, so you didn't do that. Eddie becomes a monster and the camera angle changes when ranting about what they said to him. The remake, of course, removes it. They purposely focused on eye detail of him looking around and stuff. They did that. But anyway, I just think it's funny that, you know, it's funny that they're like, oh, we did so well in Silent Hill 2 that, you know, we're done making shitty games. It's like Silent Hill 2, like you made a bastardized game. Like you're trying to convince me that, you know, you're not going to get shitty games from us anymore. You're going to get bastardized games for us. And it's like, well, I don't want either. Angela in the OG looked way older. Casted by a woman in her 40s, which helps sell the look. She aged horribly from the abuse. Makes no sense to tone down a mature theme in an M-rated game. Yep. But Elon Musk had to say something because he said DEI kills art and make video games great again. Coming from Tech for Gamers. DEI has become a huge topic in the industry ever since companies started pushing various agendas into gaming. While everyone has their opinion on it, most believe it destroys games. Even Tesla and ex-owner Elon Musk seems to think the same. And why does it matter? Forcing inclusivity into gaming is a recipe for disaster, as we have seen with recent games like Concord. Most think that it takes the narrative in a very different direction and kills art. Elon Musk took to X to address his concern about the trend of forcing DEI into gaming. He said that once you forcibly impose the woke virus into a game, it kills the art. It cancels out the story and makes it feels like you're being lectured. Many people have certain disagreement with Musk. However, in this case, many appear to be supporting him. The audience defended the take and reiterated that forced DEI is something that makes gaming a lot less fun. This is very true. But again, look at something like Silent Hill 2. They purposely did just enough to where people who may not be paying attention to this, people who may not have experienced the original Silent Hill 2, will be tricked enough into thinking that this is a good game because it's like Resident Evil 2, and that game did really well. Again, instead of the poison straight out killing you right then and there when you took a sip of it, it instead destroyed your immune system. This is what they're trying to do. Resident Evil 2 remake is fine enough on its own, but lacks a lot of the fun elements from the original. Yeah. Some developers have even started speaking out against this ever-increasing trend. Recently, Ori game director also said he won't even force DEI into their games as it makes a mockery out of their work. However, if DEI is implemented naturally and goes with the flow of the game, it isn't a bad thing. And again, this is the whole point. DEI was in games from the past, and it worked because it wasn't forceful. It wasn't forced into it. However, it doesn't fully portray the original. Yeah, I think Resident Evil did some things that was better. It's no different than me, I don't mind kind of like what I do with, retro games, to where if I find patches that fix something that was clearly broken and they were limited due to technology or fan translate or like terrible localizer translations and stuff, I'll patch it to make it better. Anything I can to get the original as possible. And that's what people in the end want. They want games from the past to literally just be able to play on current consoles and, current generation consoles and PCs and stuff, but still keep what made it great from the past in the past. Who cares if it's dated? Because that's when the game was made. So of course there's going to be some date, in there. But for heaven's sakes. Again, Shadow of Colossus. I will forever point to Shadow of Colossus because that is the 100% the best example to show how to do a remake correctly. And I'm not really talking about remasters. I'm talking about remakes. But some of the best games of this generation have had DEI, but they weren't affected because it didn't go out of the way and complemented the plot. Nonetheless, as forced DEI becomes more mainstream, it is interesting to see that many people are speaking against it and the fans share their thoughts on it. Some of the best games of this generation have had DEI, but they weren't affected because it didn't go out of the way and complement it. This is true. Again, Silent Hill can fall under this. Baldur's Gate 3 can fall under his, but it's still there. And it's there because these people have made it to where they need to shine this DEI spotlight on it. Because then by doing that, then if it's successful, they can say, well, we did that. We did it. DEI works. That's the whole thing. That's what they try to do with these new remakes and these made for the modern audiences. So that, when it fails, racist, bigots, chuds, incels, they're the reasons why this game failed. If it succeeded, DEI works. See, we told you so. The issue with DEI is that they often take away or replace rather than add. Very true. Very true. And again, that probably comes into the intermixing of what they call DEI. Because remember, they're trying to get away with DEI now because people know and see it. So now they're trying to change it to like probably some other retarded acronym or something, or bridge that Kirsch is talking about. That Park Place also has the Elon Musk talking about why DEI and the woke mind virus kills the art of video games. So during a town hall meeting, Musk was asked, with recent flops like Concord and Dustboard, games are prioritizing pronouns and things like that and stuff instead of actual gameplay. So I was wondering, have you ever thought about making your own gaming studio and making an impact on the industry? That would be amazing. After describing the inclusion of pronouns as annoying, Musk answered, if there's one thing actually that would be a fun thing to do, it would be to start a gaming studio, because I do actually intrinsically love video games. And I think if you apply sort of AI to video games, you could really make incredible video games. To an extent. He then explained why DEI and the woke mind virus kills art. Just generally for content, the problem with sort of the DEI woke mind virus is that it kills the art. When you can see something that is forcibly imposed on the story and it's discordant, it destroys the art. And now it's hard to enjoy the stories. It kicks you out of the story because you can just feel you're being lectured. In a post, he shared his comments and declared DEI kills art. Which it does. And then Musk's comment echoes what J.R.R. Tolkien said in his on Fairy Stories essay. He noted that a story maker is proven a successful sub-creator when he makes a secondary world with which your mind can enter. Inside it, what he relates is true. It accords with the law of that world. You therefore believe it while you are, as it were, inside. However, he added, the moment disbelief arises, the spell is broken, the magic, or rather art, has failed. You are then out in the primary world again, looking at the little abortive secondary world from the outside. And then Tolkien continued, if you are obliged by kindliness or circumstance to stay, then disbelief must be suspended or stifled. Otherwise, listening and looking would become intolerable. But this suspense of disbelief is a substitute for the genuine thing. Subterfuge we use when condescending to games or make-believe, and when trying, more or less willingly, to find what virtue we can in the work of an art that has, for us, failed, he asserted. And then what do you make of Elon Musk's explanations on how DEI agenda, the woke mind virus, works? Yes. And the question is, I agree with what he says. And the question is, again, is how far do we want to take it? Because we're seeing different variables here. Like the Concords and Dustborns of the world, you can point that shit out from a mile away and know it's going to fail. Assassin's Creed Shadows. But then you get into things like Baldur's Gate 3, Silent Hill 2 remake, those sort of things, where it's still in there. But, you know, unless you are very keen and kind of know the original or are aware, you can point it out, but you can kind of bypass it a little bit. But the question is, would the game be 10 times better if that wasn't in there? And my answer would be yes. If that wasn't even in there in the beginning, Silent Hill could have done even better, if they just use the concept art, I guess you could say, that you can find in the digital art book, or simply just don't make them fat and chubby. Don't censor anything. Rebuild the assets to the ground up. Then Silent Hill 2 could have gone on to be something even better than I guess you could say what it is right now. But no, but that's the thing. They'll take any sort of win that they can get, even if it's very, very minute stuff. And, it comes a time of how much you want to stand. Now for me, like, I actually wouldn't mind playing Silent Hill 2 remake. I'm going to mod the crap out of it, though. I will do what I can. And there are already mods, and there's already people getting butthurt over it. Unfortunately, I don't think we can fix the in-movie video, but people, the fact that we have to wait till mods to come out to like fix something that should have just been done right the first place kind of says a lot as well. But something that these successful DEI games is that they are from well-known brands. This is very true. They're riding on the coattails. I should really read more into Tolkien's interviews and topics regarding storytelling. I'd be interested in it. Tolkien's kind of interesting from a faith perspective because some of the stuff I read about him is kind of not what you might think of him in terms of like Christianity and stuff. But I mean, that's another thing. But as we're winding down, we got Dragon Ball Z Kakarot announces new Dragon Ball Daima DLC, and I've actually watched episode 1, enjoyed it more than what I thought I would. Still not a huge fan of the bright colors that are being used. Did love the redrawings of classic moments. Kind of wished we could just see that instead, because they actually successfully captured the Z ending character design, which I like way more than Super. But unfortunately, alas. So publisher Bandai Namco and developer CyberConnect 2 announced Dragon Ball Z Kakarot's getting a new DLC based on the new Dragon Ball Daima anime series. First part of Kakarot DLC is based on the new Daima series of the franchise, and it's titled Daima Adventure Through the Demon Realm. While the release date wasn't announced for the new DLC, it is hinted as coming soon, and you better believe they want to capitalize on the show's release. And then here's the announcement for the trailer. We'll go ahead and watch said trailer. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Surprised I know they want to ride on the concept of Daima, but like how much info do they like have behind the scenes to where they can like keep this? How is Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero? Oh, Dragon Ball Z Sparking is like really solid. Like we're still playing it. So not only is Kakarot getting a DLC, but Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is also getting a DLC of Goku Mini from Dragon Ball Daima. So they announced that the DLC character Goku Mini from the new Dragon Ball Daima show is going to be coming and is going to be added as part of its Future Saga Chapter 2 content, which still has no release date. A free trial campaign with Mini Goku will be hosted as well. And then here's the trailer for Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2. I kind of given up on Xenoverse 2, but here you go. Got Chibi Goku using his power pole. And I am talking over this because, heaven forbid, we're probably going to get demonetized. But new equipable skill. Wabam. Looks like... Oh, can you actually use the power pole now, finally? Was the power pole never a thing that you could use? But there you go. More information. And that's kind of all I had for it. It's very beautiful, but I feel like Daima's not going to be handled well. Yeah. It's like the same with Super. What's the person? Totoro? Who's the guy that's working on like continuing Super that Akira Toriyama pretty much hired and can carry it over? I mean, they have a bunch of notes and stuff. His name is slipping my mind at the moment. So yeah, it kind of depends on who's handling it and how much notes Toriyama left. Toyotaro or Toyotaru. That was kind of close. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'll probably still watch it just for the sake of watching it. I mean, I watched Super once and seen all the movies. So I'll probably do Daima as well. But let's end on what games were released today. You got your Pro Wrestling for the Famicom disc. Ooh, Super Mario Land 2. 6 gold coins was released today. Toyotaro. Yeah. Dude, Demon's Crest. I need to play Demon's Crest. Man, Metal Gear Solid. Holy crap. These are a lot of solid games. You got Card Fighters Clash. Haven't heard that one. Dude, Command & Conquer Red Alert 2 was so good. Wow. Mario Party 4. Ooh, Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers game for PlayStation. That was really good. You got a Castlevania, Lament of Innocence. I don't know how good that one was. You got Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. I don't know how good that game was. Ace Combat 5, if you like that. F-Zero Climax. Apparently, Oogie's Revenge of Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Another Castlevania game released. Oh, Fable 2. Wow, what a solid day for gaming from the past. Very solid. Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Far Cry 2. Legend of Spyro Dawn of the Dragon. Samurai Warriors 4. WWE, if you're a WWE person. Wow. I don't know. Lots of good games. Lots of good games. What else? Moby Games kind of goes around the world. Hey, Rambo 3 for Sega Genesis from Japan. Demon's Crest, of course. We already pointed that out. I played Gargoyle's Quest. I need to continue the Demon Crest series. Top Gun. I don't know how good it is. I just thought it was funny to see Top Gun. That Two Towers games was actually really good. Do I still have my copy or did I sell it? I want to say I still have it, but don't quote me on that. Let's see. Got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the Game Boy Advance. Star Wars Battlefront 2 for PlayStation for the UK was released. The suffery times that bind for Germany. Disney High School Musical 3 Senior Year Dance. Aye. A lot of Web of Shadows. Saw that. Apparently the rock band Nirvana pack. Oh, Naruto Clash of the Ninja Revolution 2. Let's see. What else? We're on 2016 right now. So we're at that point where DEI finally reared its ugly head and started bastardizing stuff. So who knows? Who knows? Man, look at that. Look, 2006 onward, just now nothing stands out anymore. How sad. I mean, Persona Royal, I guess. I don't know. Yep, that's it. Alrighty, folks. Well, that is all I have for you guys today. Thanks a lot for people for hanging out with me. Gaming used to be such a culture thing. Indeed, indeed. But thanks again to everyone for hanging out with me. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Feel free to follow me over on YouTube, Rumble, and X, because that is what we were streaming today. And then you can find my other social medias listed in the description or my link tree. Just humbled and blessed if you help support the show in terms of pushing that algorithm. And of course, you can always check out the membership tiers if you want to go beyond just the algorithm. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on this Monday. If you have early voting, go out and do it. Enjoy the stream. Have a nice night, dude. Yeah. Excellent stream. Thank you. Thank you. Looks like Drunk 3PO is, is he? Apparently he was scheduled for today, but I'll send it over anyway. I like Jay. He's awesome. All right. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Take care and God bless. Till then, peace.